On Global TV News Express, Saudi Arabia stops Sheikh Gumi from performing Hajj, deports him to Nigeria. In business, CBN says foreign trade payment raises to $267.96 million. On the foreign scene, Trump rebukes Putin as Russia hits Ukraine with record drone attack. And in sports, Super Eagles arrive in London on Unity Cup tournament. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, Jumai Manson. Now, a quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. You can download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcasts. Now the news in full. Saudi Arabia has stopped Kaduna-based Islamic scholar Sheikh Ahmed Gumi from performing the 2025 Hajj and deported him to Nigeria. Sheikh Gumi confirmed this in a post made on Monday, May 26, 2025, via his Facebook page. He said the Saudi government had granted him a visa to enter the country for Hajj, but was not allowed to enter Medina to begin his religious duties. Sheikh Gumi is part of a delegation of scholars sponsored by the Nigerian Hajj Commission to travel to Saudi Arabia for religious services. Officials from the Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, under the leadership of Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has sealed the national headquarters of the People's Democratic Party. The group of FCTA staff locked the entrance gate of Wadata Plaza, the PDP's national secretariat, located in Wuse Zone 5, Abuja. This action follows the FCTA's recent announcement on Sunday stating its intention to reclaim properties affected by the revocation of 4,794 land titles due to non-payment of grand rent spanning 10 to 43 years. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has postponed its 99th National Executive Committee NEC meeting amid growing concerns over whether the party's top decision-making body can take decisive action against former Vice President Abubakar and the Federal Capital Territory FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. The meeting had been scheduled for tomorrow at the PDP's National Secretariat in Abuja. However, it was postponed to allow the Reconciliation Committee, led by former Senate President Bukola Saraki, to carry out its assignment. A notice tagged postponement of the 99th NEC meeting, signed by PDP's National Secretary Samuel Ariwon, stated that a new date would be scheduled. A high-profile meeting in Abuja aimed at forging a political coalition against the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC) was briefly thrown into chaos following a disagreement among delegates. The meeting drew several prominent opposition figures, including former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, Labour Party presidential candidate Rotimi Amechi, former Minister of Transportation, and Babachir Lawal, ex-secretary to the government of the Federation. The disruption occurred after Lawal nominated a delegate to speak on behalf of Jigawa State, and it sparked a protest from other delegates from the state, who stormed the stage to block the nominee from speaking, insisting on selecting their own representatives. Meanwhile, a fractional Social Democratic Party SDP led by Wole Adesina has issued a stern warning against what he called two disturbing developments threatening the integrity and unity of the party. The fraction's National Publicity Secretary, Alpha Mohammed, in a statement condemned the influx of aggrieved politicians following a coalition aimed at sacking President Bola Tinubu without presenting any clear-cut alternative vision for Nigeria's transformation, while distancing itself from any coalition allegedly seeking to derail the administration and undermine the mandate of Nigeria's voters from the 2023 general election. The fraction pledged to maintain constructive engagement with the federal government, holding it accountable. The leader of the Senate, Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, has rejected claims by opposition parties that the National Assembly under the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration is merely a rubber stamp institution. In a statement released by the Directorate of Media and Public Affairs Office of the Senate leader, Bamidele pointed out that the National Assembly, since its inauguration on June 13, 2023, has prioritized strategic engagement and constructive dialogue in addressing complex national issues. Bamidele, who represents Ekiti Central Senatorial District, said such accusations do not reflect the reality of legislative-executive relations, particularly reinforcing the extensive process involved in the passage of the 2023 tax reform bills. The House of Representatives is struggling to find its footing with another batch of bills to amend Nigeria's constitution. In the last 2 weeks, the amendment process unraveled into a tangle of procedural missteps, chaos, and legislative confusion, further revealing the chamber seemingly at odds with its own rule book. The convention was brought by 7 constitutional amendment bills covering sensitive and potentially transformative areas. When the bills comes up for second reading in one of its plenary sessions presided over by Benjamin Kalu, the Deputy Speaker, the bills were bundled together and put to a single vote, and lawmakers overwhelmingly voted nay, blocking the entire batch from proceeding. In another development, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, has withdrawn a bill seeking to make voting mandatory for all eligible Nigerians. In a statement issued by its Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Musa Abdullahi Krishi, the Speaker noted that the decision followed extensive consultations with a broad spectrum of stakeholders across the country. The bill, co-sponsored with the Honorable Daniel Asama Ago, aims to amend the Electoral Act 2023 to enforce compulsory voting as a means of deepening democratic participation. Over now to Kebbi State chapter of the National Council for Women Societies has called for a total ban on street hawking by young girls, describing the trend as dangerous and morally harmful. The state president of the council, Hajia Hadiza Mohammed Kola, raised alarm over the increasing number of girl children hawking on streets, warning that the practice exposes them to risks such as sexual exploitation, early sex for money transaction, and other forms of abuse. Kola dismissed the widely held belief that poverty is solely to blame, arguing that many women have benefited from government support programs like home gardening initiatives. According to her, some of these women now earn enough to support their families without pushing their daughters into street hawking. The Zamfara state government says it is committed to providing political and financial support to end malnutrition, which has affected several children in the state. Governor Dauda Lawal stated this during the launch of comprehensive nutrition policy and signing of Memorandum of Understanding with UNICEF with the Federal University of Gusau to train 1,000 social workers. Queen Agaba has details.
In Zamfara State, the crisis of child malnutrition remains a pressing concern, with thousands of children suffering from severe acute malnutrition. To address this, the state government has launched a nutrition and food policy and entered into.
The Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANUS, University of Ilorin branch, has rejected the sharing formula for the 50 billion naira earned allowance released by the federal government for unions in public universities in the country. The union stated that it received the news of the outcome of the 50 billion naira earned allowance sharing committee with disbelief and disappointment. State Nigerians and the public must understand the injustice being meted on the non-teaching staff in the Nigerian public universities. It warned that the university is a system where no group can claim a monopoly of the superiority over others in terms of productivity, performance, and impact on the whole of the system. You are watching the live broadcast of News Express. When News Express returns, management of Niger Delta Power Holding Company decries 600 billion naira electricity debt, stranded 2,000 megawatts. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Do you know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is News Express on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, the management of Niger Delta Power Holding Company says Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC and other bilateral entities are owing close to 600 billion naira. A development, it says, has been hindering the company's operations. The managing director of the company, Jennifer Adihije, in a statement by her technical advisor, Media Adesanya Adejoku, noted that gas supply challenges, transmission constraints, as well as close to 600 billion debt being owed the company by Nigeria Bulk Electricity Trading and other bilateral entities are hindering the company's operations. The company decried what it called the dismissal uptake of electricity from electricity market, saying this is significantly weighing down its operations. Nigeria's fulfillment of foreign trade transactions through letters of credit rose by 3.68% year-on-year to $269.96 million in the first 4 months of 2025, up from $258.46 million in the corresponding period of 2024. This was disclosed by the Central Bank of Nigeria in an international payment data published on its website. A letter of credit is a written commitment issued by a bank on behalf of an importer, guaranteeing payment to an exporter once shipment and proper documentation are confirmed. It is commonly used in the importation of visible goods. Overnight, the Asian stocks were mixed after Donald Trump thrust its trade war back into the spotlight by threatening the European Union with huge tariffs before extending a deadline for their implementation. Just as markets were showing signs of settling following their bond-fueled sell-off last week, the U.S. president hurled its latest general across the pond by leveling 50 levies at the bloc from June 1st, saying talks were going nowhere. He said he would hit smartphone makers with 25% tolls if they did not make their handsets in the United States. On the foreign news now, United States President Donald Trump has lambasted his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin, describing him as absolutely crazy. After Moscow launched its largest aerial attack of the war in Ukraine, killing at least 13 people. Trump's comment issued on his Truth Social platform on Sunday marked a rare rebuke of Putin. The comment came as Ukraine's Air Force said Russia had launched a record number of drones against Ukraine overnight on Sunday. It said Russian forces deployed 298 drones and 69 missiles, but that it was able to down 266 drones and 45 missiles. Two major hospital directors in Gaza says at least 54 Palestinians have been killed in two separate Israeli airstrikes on Monday, including a strike on a school sheltering displaced families in central Gaza. Famin Arjawan School in Gaza City have been housing hundreds of displaced people from the town of Beit Lahar, currently under intense Israel military assault. A spokesperson of Gaza's Hamas-run civil defense said 20 bodies, including those of children, were recovered as many were severely burned after fires engulfed two classrooms turned into living quarters. Over to sports now. 10 home-based Super Eagles players and their officials have arrived in London for the Unity Cup Invitational Tournament. The Super Eagles will face perennial rivals Black Stars of Ghana in their first game at the Denge Community Stadium, Bedford, on Wednesday. The players include Captain Ahmed Musa, Ifeanyi Oyebuchi, Papa Daniel, and Uduka Jr. Sadiq Ismail and Wole Ojetoye are the local-based players invited by head coach Eric Chelle. Nigerian hurdler and world record holder Toby Amason stormed to victory in the women's 100 meters hurdle at the Diamond League met in Rabat, Morocco, clocking an impressive 12.45 seconds. The 28-year-old hurdler delivered a season's best of 12.24 seconds, shattering the previous meet record of 12.51 record set by American Brianna McNeil in 2018. The result marked Amason's first major victory of the 2025 season and reaffirmed her status as leading contender ahead of the World Championship in Tokyo. Still on sports now, Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah has confirmed he had serious talks with moving to the Saudi Pro League. Negotiations over a new deal between Salah and the Reds were very long as he entered the final months of the existing one. The Egyptian claimed he was more out than in when he spoke about his future at Anfield in November. Here we end News Express with our top stories on Global TV News Express. Saudi Arabia has stopped Kaduna-based Islamic scholar Sheikh Ahmed Gumi from performing 2025 Hajj and deported him to Nigeria. In business, Nigeria's fulfillment of foreign trade transactions through letters of credit rose by 3.68% year-on-year to $267.96 million in the first 4 months of 2025, up from $2,508.46 million in the corresponding period of 2024. And on the foreign scene now, United States President Donald Trump has lambasted his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin, describing him as absolutely crazy after Moscow launched its largest arsenal attack of the war of Ukraine, killing at least 13 people. And finally, in sports, 10 home-based Super Eagles players and their officials have arrived in London for the Unity Cup Invitational Tournament. And that's it on Global TV News Express. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @Global TV NG. You can download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching.